Welcome to another day in the sun today in Humanity Unboxed with me, Michelle Cheyne, and Michael McGrooch. Happy to see you, Michael. Happy to hear that it's warmer on your side, and happy to see you
Yes,
around.
yes, we had the same thing than you in England. We had,
Yeah,
I think, only 10 days this year that started with sun and end with sun. And for Los Angeles, that is not a happy thing, you know.
no, I can imagine. I'm looking today because it hasn't rained yet. My dream has always been to move to the tropics, and it
Yeah.
seems like England is becoming the tropics because it's humid and wet. So we'll see if it rains today, but I'm happy for some warmer weather. So tell me, we are on the last week of June. Crazy how time has flown. And we're kind of ending off this series of conversations around value. We've kind of focused on validation quite a bit, you know. How do we see ourselves through others' eyes, maybe?
hmm
So now we're going to have a look, or the title of this, whatever that is, brings to the table, is Cultivating Authentic Self-Worth Beyond Validation.
hmm
And for me, that means, who am I without you telling me?
Yeah, 100%.
Mm,
Because since everybody's a one-on-one, we come always back to that.
yeah.
I don't know what you should do. You don't know what I should do.
Mm-mm.
We can just be and not adapt to system relevance.
Mm,
Obviously rules and regulations, you need to be aware of them, because if there was no and that's why I think systems are good, they're not bad, they're just outdated. So you
yeah.
need to have traffic jam, because if I drive from anywhere in Europe, in England, I'm driving on the wrong street, so on the wrong side of the street. So there
According
has
to
to be
you, yeah.
guidelines. The rules are always guidelines. They're not absolute, but they are
Yeah.
guidelines.
Yeah. But
And so
now, yeah.
it's
Sorry.
like a collective agreement,
Mm,
you know, and
mhm.
it's not like me forcing you and punishing you, but it's a collective agreement. Okay, can we say that you knock on the door before you come in? This usually would be called tact human centrically,
Mm,
but people are so system relevant that they've lost the, because they say, oh, there's no rule that you can't fart. Okay, in a concert hall, there's no rule
yeah.
for that, right?
Yeah.
So if you have thing, you go get out. If you are a system relevant, you just fart. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter, and you don't care about other. It's a
Mm,
lack of tact, that lack of interaction with other people.
mm.
Uh,
And
and
connection, because you're not seeing the other person, you're only seeing yourself.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and because
And
that's what system relevance does. It is the ego feeder.
mm,
Because once I know the rule and once I know the skill, I can outmaneuver anybody, because I'm doing what the system says is right.
yeah. But now we don't need rules to be. The rules are, as that favorite quote of mine of Rick Rubin's, rules lead us to average behavior. It's a way to get us to exist together, but we need to question those rules, and we need to often not abide by them if we want to create something new. So we have to be able to step out of it. You just mentioned something that triggered language. Mutual agreements. So when we want to communicate with each other, or when we want to connect to each other, we use language. We've now chosen to use the English language, and we come to the table with our own meanings to those words, because for both of us, for example, it's a second language. So how we acquired it and how we use it already comes with almost baggage, or associated meanings. Like, I know when I saw authentic, I knew that you don't like the word authentic,
Mhm.
because you have connections to it. But now, and I think this is in society, in the world, in living in connection, we need to make sure of the meanings. Are we understanding something in a similar way? Not that there's a right or a wrong, not that my understanding's better than yours or yours than mine, but are we understanding each other's meaning of what we are trying to communicate? And I feel that there's a gap in that often when we get into rooms or into conversations and we come with all our own stuff. Like, I just want to tell you about this stuff. I'm going to, you know, we never allow for the other person's meaning to what they bring to the table. And I think we always come back to touching on this really. Yeah, as to what we agree upon. Now, to bring it back to what our kind of theme is around validation and self-worth, what can we agree is our inherent self-worth? What am I worth? How good I am at drawing a stick man, or do my worth, is it attached to whether Michael likes me or whether
This is
I've got
relevant. The outside is
yes,
outside validation versus inward acceptance.
yeah,
Because you cannot not accept it. It's like, oh, you shouldn't be a woman. You have to accept you're a woman. Nature made you a woman. Oh, I want to be a black woman. No, you can't be a black woman because you're a white woman and nature made you that,
yeah,
So, and you want to have blonde hair. You don't have blonde hair. You can play in the system pretending. Everything in the system is pretending. That's why we all have always think. So we pretend we have all the social media classes, right? The ones that pretend and the ones they are,
yeah,
and it's just like everything is pretending, because I don't need to show and identity is very dangerous, because identity is the system relevant a recognition that you have that gives yourself a system of value. So I'm an MD, and I have to write everywhere that I'm an MD. I'm a professor. I'm this. I'm that, and you put that everywhere in, and people also referring constantly. I have so much to refer from my past. Irrelevant. I say completely irrelevant. Your past is irrelevant. That's that's like saying, go back to your first husband or first wife or whatever. That's done. That is processed, hopefully digested, and moving on. You're not the person that you are with 20. You are the same inner acceptance of who you are of 20 or 18 or 16, whatever. But you're not that person anymore, because you're more self-aware and more aware of your essence that started with a kid and ends with a senior citizen. But it's in human centricity, there's no difference, because you are one. It's a function. You're that function from a baby to a senior citizen, all in one. So the segregation even of inner child, inner adolescent, critical parents, it is making systemically generalizing humans. And there's people that that are so traumatized, where it's really which we see in our diversity too, that are so stuck in that shame, and they're so stuck, and they feel only safe as being a baby. But we like kids, like you and I joking, monkeying around, dancing and stuff, because it's our essence. The kid cannot be out of the essence. The adult cannot be out of the essence. It's always there.
Yeah, and it almost comes back to that hierarchical concept of parent. I am here to save my inner child, instead of going, I am part of my inner child, and we are doing this together.
Yeah, we're dancing together. We are all parts dancing together. And even if you're not yet a senior citizen, you still are open that the senior citizen awareness of senior citizenship, the last thing of your life, of your physical life, to get that. And also, I think we need to also say the value. This is all made by money value, and that by the flawed system, because humans can exchange value by I wrote it down, by time, giving time to each other, like you and me. So it's not like, oh, I was guest on Michelle and she has to now pay me a lot of money, because otherwise, I mean, it would totally destroy this, you know.
But
uh
it could also be an exchange.
no, I know,
Yeah.
Michelle, if you want to pay me money or I want to pay you money, we
Yeah.
can do that. That is a gift, you know.
Mm.
That's like a gift, but it's not the exchange of value is. I need to write this down because I can't even remember with the neurodiversity through it. Time, talent, and treasure, or money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's time, talent. So your ability, you can contribute with your ability, with your unique one that is
Yeah.
from 101.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't have to be always money, but it's
No.
forced. See,
Yeah.
it's forced to be money, because money, we have abused money, the meaning of money. Money is neutral like a gun, but we
Mm.
have abused the meaning of money so much with the fiat currency, with
Yeah.
all the other stuff. So now it's a skill. Money has become a skill, and it's a skill of survival. And the skill of survival is now the alignment to monetary values of anybody. So if somebody dumps $1 billion into you and me right now,
Mm.
what happens is all of a sudden we are relevant. Everybody but it's in the artificial environment of systems in the metaverse. If
Mm.
you have $1 billion, all of a sudden everybody, you are totally relevant. You can be a beggar. If I give a beggar uh, $1 billion, he's relevant tomorrow. Dress him up, wash him up, give him $1 billion. And
Yeah.
because he's adapting not his one-on-oneness, he's adapting to the image of a rich person. And
Which is seen to be a form of validation.
yeah,
As a rich person, you must have done something amazing, or you
yeah,
are good at something, or there's a
yeah.
it's automatic validation almost. I'm busy listening to On Dialogue by David Bohm. It's on having these places of connection and sharing meaning, and he uses a story example in a company where they had people clashing with each other and they didn't know how to fix the issue, so they would just give them a raise and
Mhm.
give them more money so that they stay happy and they stay in the company until it becomes an issue that the company can't afford it anymore and the issues aren't solved. So we need to find a way to remove the money as the incentive or the reward or the extrinsic form of
Yeah.
validation. And I mean, it has
But
value.
is it
It does buy stuff, but it
man?
doesn't give us value as people,
Yeah,
or show our own self-worth, or
yeah. The one it's contrary to the one. It's a devaluation. So
yeah.
money, when you allow money to dominate your system relevant everything. When you say, okay, if I put a suit on, then I get more money.
Or I
It's
look
a
more important.
devaluation, because if you don't like suits, if you like suits, God, wear top hat, wear everything. But
Yeah.
if you don't like it, you're selling out your one-on-oneness. See
Yes,
if
and I like that a lot because this is the culture, and I think this is Cole that's joined us and said something that's really very true to my heart as well. Ties in beautifully why I feel labels gloss over so much of who we are at our core, and I agree completely with that.
yeah,
And this is the same as, oh, but if you do business or if you go for want to work or want to earn money, then you have to look the part, and you have to
be
dress
the
a
part,
certain
be
way,
the part,
be
say
the
the right
part.
words. I mean, today it's so. I mean, leadership. When you go into leadership seminars, I can't even believe what I hear. You have to don't use these words, to use that word. Don't do this, do it. No, you're part of the team. You keep all the plates spinning. That's it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
But yet there is a form of connection. What do people identify with? So it's understanding the people on a one or one-to-one level as to what are the language that gets through to Michael. You know,
yeah,
how do we communicate? And then same with how do I communicate with Cole? What is his core connection points? So it becomes a very, I don't know, bespoke kind of a very, I need to see you. I can't just make up, when I talk to systems, when I talk to the education system, then I need to use certain words. Or if I want to be heard in a certain space within a system, whether it's government, or I need to use those words that they identify with. Otherwise, might as well be talking to the trees. So it is the difference, I
You
suppose.
know how easy that is for neurodivergent people to
Yeah,
remember all the words.
yeah, exactly.
I can't even remember three. I had to write down 3 words.
Yeah, which is the ultimate form of non-inclusivity. It's like if there's no understanding or shared meaning within communication between humans and systems, then how can we update them?
No, we can update them because because humans grew, right? We grew. So I always say that example in the Second World War, women didn't want to rule. They didn't want. There were some that started ruling, but they were still the same. No, I know from my mom and stuff. I know. Oh, I want to serve my husband. I want to take care of the kids. That's my job. That's my function. And and my husband is to be strong, macho, whatever, and tough, and he brings home the dough. So it was a sharing of thing. And also in the war, the man had to go, the woman had to be more selfish, which actually empowered the woman more and more to do, like today, whatever they want to do, they can. They're not have to be defined as women, and that's what women do. See, this is the generalization is the killer. Every time we generalize humans, we segregate humans. We segregate humans because if only a man can fly an airplane, then you segregate women because they say, I can never fight. And you can,
Yeah,
Earhart.
generalization.
She's a woman, sorry.
Yeah. And I mean, this is also the conversation we've had a couple times around, gender, which I know is a sensitive subject. But I mean, why do men have to wear not? Men don't wear pink, or they don't wear bows in their hair. Therefore, if I want to do that, I must become a woman. But what if we don't?
Oh, I think I have to wear a woman now. After
Exactly.
pink.
See, I say only real men can wear pink.
Yeah.
And that was actually, pink was the color for boys when I can't remember when, 1800s, when babies were dressed up
It's
in the
changing.
color, it was pink.
In the 20s, you didn't want to have breasts. In the 80s, you want to have super breasts. It's like now you have to have super butts. It's always something, but it changes. So if it was forever was that, I would say, okay, that's a human thing, but it's not. It's constantly changing.
But the system is changing. I mean, I was even listening to Terrence Howard's conversation with Joe Rogan today. I've just started. It's like almost like a book because it's like a 3-hour podcast episode. And I mean, the periodic table, which is like the basis of science, chemistry, isn't necessarily what we've been told for the past. There's so much more to it. So also in this book that I'm listening to, a dialogue, he was saying an interesting thing, that science has become the religion of our time. We can't talk about that because it's us and them. What's the real science, or what's your qualification, or it's just a point of disagreement and authority kind of, trust the science. But the science is, the whole point of science is that it needs to change. That's the premise.
Update, not change, update. Because what is science here for? It's studying nature, studying humans to understand how it functions, and actually copying that, what works there, and not just saying, oh, we got to create something that is similar, like in the medical industry. They take the one ingredient that is in whatever peppermint, and they take not peppermint, the whole, because you need the whole. But they
Yeah.
say, okay, what chemistry is in Kappa? Oh, there's this one. There's monkey love in there. We take in monkey love and we make it scientifically from petrochemicals. So that doesn't. So that is not because nobody can forbid you to use nature, even though they
Well,
tried.
they do.
Because
They
they're
have
part of us
tried.
and we are interconnected with it.
Yeah.
So there's the value. That's also a devaluation. Because why am I not allowed to heal myself or pluck some mushroom of nature and eat that? Why can I not? Because it might be a drug. Whatever is there is, and the people have to be responsible for themselves, not just saying, "Oh my God!" And especially today, you have apps you can check out the mushroom if it's edible or not.
Yeah. Yeah. But still, the responsibility lies with you. Whether
Never with the other. Never with the other.
not
Nobody
with
can.
others. Yeah.
No, nobody ever. The others can influence because they don't know what is the right thing for you. Only you know.
Yes. And this is also what Cole brings up here, is that as soon as you go to that I should, he's
Yeah.
saying all the times I lead through labels laced in should, my energy is scattered, frantic, and shame, honestly,
Yeah,
which is very
should.
true.
They're supposed to. The danger words are supposed to and should. The generalization. Every generalization, I make it easier for the guy. Any generalization is wrong because not every. Have you ever seen two women the same? Have you ever seen two men the same? I've never ever. Have you seen two transsexuals the same? Have you seen two gay people themselves? Non-gender. Have you seen? So you cannot reverse engineer systemically your generalization. You cannot reverse engineer your generalization because then we would have 8 billion different definition of humans, because I identify as a monkey that loves to dance and I'm going to put a red hat on because that's I feel the happiest.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's fine.
I want the system to give me extra bathroom. I want the system. The system can't cater to this. I know I have a friend in Canada, and she told me that she says we fought so long to get the disabled bathrooms, and now because the mailing, the transsexuals take their a non-binary go in that restaurant, go in the disabled restroom, and they say I have to wait for those people because they, it's just we are one of one. We are not man woman. Stop with the man woman race sex. We are one of one, and that's it. That's it. You whatever you want to be is fine, but you're one of one human. Period.
Yeah. And if you, as soon as you try and be that something else, that's when that scattered and frantic and shame and not enough and guilt and all those other things come in. I mean, most of these self-help or coaches or whoever tells you how you should do it, you should wake up in the morning and you should do this and this and that and plan your day, and I just
Generalization.
yeah.
Every coach is. That's why I'm so against coach. I'm a coach, but I'm an advisor now because I don't like to tell people 1, 2, 3. I might want to give them awareness so they can use with their awareness with their one-on-oneness and can do something with it. I'm not going to say there's only one way. You got to go into the black, in the dark to find the light. No, there's people that actually are more afraid of the light and find themselves. So it's just the whole thing of generalization, and also it's very anti 101. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Because once I identify myself as transsexual, then I'm a group, and in a group is a generalized. I'm generalized, so I'm again not what the 101. I'm actually human centrically. This has nothing to do with how you're treated in the world or whatever. But when you make yourself a definition, an image definition, then you're actually giving up, because you can be a super rich person like this, and you can be a super rich person like that. Doesn't mean billionaire and billionaire is not the same. Millionaire and millionaire is not. Beggar and beggar are not the same. So you are always a one, and every time you generalize yourself, I always say, just call me Michael. I have no education. I'm not. What's the background? What's the background? How would I deal with him? How, I said, I have no education. 8 years, and I had to repeat 2 years. Right. And I did
Yeah.
a lot in life. You know that, a lot. I have a lot of influence, but I'm
But
without
that's a box.
no
I mean,
dialogue.
education is
It's
a
my,
box.
it's
Yeah,
my,
experience is something else, and who you are has got nothing to do with any of those.
and it's not even close to a box because there can't be a box for 8 billion people. There can't be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We don't need those boxes.
No.
Yeah, but yet, and I think this is maybe where this conversation is leading, is as to a lot of people don't find that self-worth, so they need the box so that they can feel that they belong or that they fit in, which is that external validation. So if I give myself a label of I'm bisexual,
Yeah.
um, now I am in the group of bisexuals, but I can also be a person who can fall in love with any other person.
Exactly. You're bisexual. You can fall in love with
But I don't
anybody.
have to have that name. I don't have to call
Yeah.
myself anything. I don't
Makes
have
it instantly weird. See, if you define yourself a bisexual and they see you, one time dating a man, one time dating a woman, and when that happens, it's tainting you. It's tainting you. Where it says, if everybody's 101, fall in love with a woman, fall in love with a man, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Why would you even care? Because why would you care what people do when there's harm to none? I'm not saying your mother and then you got this. So you have to deal, you have to do harm to none.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you can do whatever you want. This is the system always says, no, you can't unless you are defined. Screw that. Where is the truth in that?
There is no truth in that because you don't
It's a
have
lie. It's a lie. It's a lie, a suppressive lie to say once you're defined as a transsexual, non-binary, whatever, furry or whatever you want to be, once you're defined, then you have rights. You have the rights by nature. You are 101. There is no definition. Not a woman is not better, or a male is not better, a transsexual is not. Nobody is better. We are all 101 in the human centricity. In systems, the transsexual can be the computer genius, could be the second person of Elon Musk, and everybody could be anything because that's in the systems, and that's why there should be artworks. There should be artworks. The system they should be updated, upgraded to our growth. We didn't see ourselves as more than two groups. Male and female in the Second World War. Like we said, women wanted to do the homework and stuff. Yes, we didn't, but we have grown, and the internet segregated us in niches, and
it's also connected us, though. It's also
it connected us, and because like you and I wouldn't have met without the internet. Yeah, so no, it's great using technology as a tool, not as a subordinate, is perfect. And so this has segregated, and we have grown through the internet. We're not just, it's bad. No, we have grown tremendously because we exchanged, we talk, and because the talk and the podcast and everything, why there's so much need for the podcast, is the talk. And see, it's totally open. It's not system hidden that you don't make money with podcasts. And why is there such a thing to the podcast? And why do we want to now make podcasts a money issue, to make money with it? And so the system makes it more complicated and more complicated and more complicated. So at least you can hire something that does your audio equipment, hire something that does your connection and whatever, and everything. So,
but that's not where the value for us necessarily lies, and I think that's where the point of this comes in, as to a lot of people don't put that energy into it because they feel like they're not going to be as good as Joe Rogan, and therefore why go down that road where I suppose it all lies in comparison. It's as to, if I compare myself to someone like Joe Rogan, just out of the, I don't know why him, but say him, then I'm never going to be good enough. So we're coming back to that good enough.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be good enough. I'm trying to have an open conversation around Yeah.
Yeah.
various subjects, and finding each other's meanings and
Yeah.
connecting
A,
to.
a human centric conversation that actually opens my unique life perspective and yours. And that's actually the highest form of learning, exchange of experiences, because you come from your experience is from your experiences, my experience is from mine, and that is our life perspective, and that's what we share.
Yes.
And yeah,
Thank you. Without validation, I love talking to you.
me
um,
too.
we will chat again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.